Welcome to the Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Social. We'd like to welcome back host of The Social's Mom Life Crisis and the NSL on TSN, Kate McKenna is here.
Hey, everybody.
All right, so we're going to start off with a big question, a relevant question. In these tense times, is social media still the place for politics? No. All right.
No.
Well, Sarah Jessica Parker, she was on the Best People podcast, and she explained why she's not vocal about her political views. She said that social media is not the place for conversations, complicated conversations, and she's not interested in those quick snippets about conflicts or even things like elections. So the question is, do we agree with SJP? Do you... Yes. You know, how do you handle being political or not political online?
Listen, I agree with her, but I don't believe her. I don't believe her. But I think it's a very clever way for you to answer a very prickly question, which a lot of celebrities are being asked. Like, there are all of these big things going on for the last few years, and a lot of celebrities have been asked, like, why aren't you speaking up? Why aren't you saying something? And I think a lot of them are not comfortable with it. I think SJP is one of those people. And so her answer feels very curated and very thoughtful. And then I thought about her career, and I understand why she's doing this. This woman has had a career that spanned 5 decades. She has several shows, Sex and the City, and Just Like That. Not to mention the brand deals with Garnier, Gap. She has her own production company. She has her own shoe line. And not to mention her husband is also a famous person, Matthew Broderick. He's on the big stage.
So she's doing it to be safe.
I think she's just thinking about, like, is it worth it for me to tweet something or do a little quick thing on social media when it can really, because we've seen people lose their entire career. Is it worth it for me to say this one thing because I know it can affect all of these people that I work with, all of these shows, my husband, my 3 children. So I think she's just playing it safe. And I don't blame her. I would do the same thing. I would do the same thing.
I kind of get it. Like, I don't think it's just celebrities worrying about playing it safe. I worry about that too, because I know what I don't know. And I know that in these conversations, I can step in it. I can say the wrong thing. And when I've had conversations about these political issues, be it consent, be it race-related conversations, be it geopolitical conversations, with friends, particularly friends within the groups that are affected, they're messy. I ask probably stupid questions. I lay bare what I don't know. And social media, I don't think, allows for nuance, and it certainly doesn't allow you to make mistakes. So for sure, if I weighed in, and I tend not to, and then put my phone away, I would be very worried about what's happening in those social media realms when I'm not looking.
I know, this is so complicated. I go back and forth on this. Like, on the one hand, people who have followers and followings have a responsibility to, like, they can have the power to ignite movements, to illuminate certain issues, to draw attention that might not be there. So I understand why people sit around and go, like, okay, so you're afraid of, you know, people getting mad at you online. Well, there are literally people dying around the world. Shouldn't you say something? And there's that argument. And then on the other side, there's the argument which you guys have been raising, which is that, like, for me, the biggest thing that has become illuminated in the last few years is just that social media has become the equivalent of, like, you know, the graffiti on the bathroom walls? Like, it's a crass, inelegant space that mixes cat videos with images of dying children, like, quite frankly. And so it's like, is this the space where you can have safe conversations, where you're learning, where you're actually drawing attention? Or is it a space where more wars are being created? Because if you don't do or say exactly the right thing to the right people, then you're gonna be piled on. And I don't know about you, but I only have so much energy. And I actually think that's true for everyone. So I think many of these social justice warriors would be much better served by taking that energy and actually, I don't know, starting a walk, writing a letter to their government official, like doing, actually—
Can you do both?
You can, but there's only so much energy. And what I see is a lot of people who feel like they're doing something, and they're not actually. They're fighting with people who are actually on the same side as them, who maybe made an attempt to do something, and they didn't do it right, and then they're getting mad at them.
And
it's
they're
like,
arguing in the comments.
And then they're arguing back and forth. So I don't know. I just feel like it's a fraught space right now.
Yeah, I get it. I think the question is, what do you have to lose, and what do you have to gain by posting? And that's gonna be a different answer for every single person. And I get the reticence. I just happen to be, if you follow me, you know, I'm outspoken. I just am.
I think we all are.
But
I think we all
politically. So I do use my platform and I make big political statements. There's a difference. What we do here as a job, we also understand a lot of the sides. We understand what backlash feels like. We actually have lived through a lot of stuff on this show because of things we have said and done. So I am battle tested. That's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And I have a thick skin, and I also know that when you have a platform, and this is not for everybody, but for me, I feel very responsible that I have a platform of people who are like, what do you think, Melissa? And this is not for the faint of heart. But I know that people look to me and say, are you an ally or are you not? And I do want to say to people, this is not for everybody.
But this is not about
But let me
allyship.
finish. No, but for me it is.
But I think about
for me it is.
that word.
You want people to know where you stand and you feel comfortable no matter what the response is.
Exactly. So whether it's gay rights, whether it's women's rights, I'm out there and I am yelling and tagging the politicians.
So wait.
I am.
I just have to say, I do feel like we're lumping in a whole bunch of things. Allyship, I think, of the LGBTQ plus community, of course, come from me. I don't care. I'm going to shout from the rooftops inclusivity, 100%.
Yeah.
That, to me, indigenous rights. There's no...
But that's all political.
No, but that, to me, I think what we're
is
talking about right
political.
now is
the
what...
private is
But
political.
what we're talking about right now, I think,
Yeah.
is the elephant in the room is what is happening in the Middle East. And I think for many people, that is a very hard thing to talk about. And people want to talk about this. And yet, there is histories and there are legacies and there are complicated things going on that I'm right now, as I speak in this live moment, I'm afraid of saying something. Now, should I be afraid? My God, the people who are afraid are the people who are being impacted by war. I feel like a jerk even expressing my fear. Who cares? But I don't believe that even me retweeting a picture of something horrifying is actually going to move the dial forward towards peace.
No, I agree
and
with you.
I'm interested in peace, and I'm interested in learning, and I'm interested in conversations, and I'm interested in donating money, but I don't think I'm interested in having dumb conversations on social media.
Yeah, you make a great point, and I'll say this much. We're expected with the job that we have to do that. We have to think about her job, and I'm just curious. I've obviously not seen her contract, although I'd love to. She might have it in her contract that she's not allowed to say these things on social media platforms. We have to remember that because it's just not her. It's her entire brand that she's going to affect and thousands of people. So I think maybe that might be a reason why she's not saying anything as well.
Yeah. I guess I would just add that I think there's many ways to be an ally. You know, I think if you look at someone's feed, I don't post politically, but I have a queer sister who I love. I have a boy who runs around in skirts. Like, I think there's different ways to assess someone's political leanings. And I guess the thing that worries me is that people use these posts to virtue signal that they are an ally without actually doing
any of the work.
And so that's what concerns me.
Yes. A lot of hashtagging, baby. Hashtags and no
I think
work.
the activism, there is a verb in the word activism, and it is act.
Yeah.
And I think outrage with no action is just yelling.
Okay, this next topic comes to us from a viewer.
What's a banger?
So Alex from Hamilton, Ontario says, I've been dating this person for about a year. They are really nice and own their own car. I was recently going out of town and needed to get to the airport. They knew what my flights were, but never offered to drive me or pick me up from the airport. This kind of gave me the ick, especially considering they have a vehicle. So should I be bothered by this? Yeah. What do you think? Yeah. What do you think? Okay.
Yeah.
They just canceled him. They just
He's
canceled
gone.
him.
I'm with you. Dump them, Alex. Like,
We don't know
dump
what- wait a
them.
minute, we
Dump
don't know-
them. Dump
we don't
them.
know what gender
Dump
they are.
them,
Yeah.
Alex. Dump them.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. Listen, I think this is a litmus test for how the relationship is going to go. I think sometimes we judge relationships on the big things. Are they good at surprises? Are they good at getaways? For me, it's the little things that prove how someone is in a relationship. And if they don't have the human decency to offer to drive you to the airport, you got problems.
It's a bigger question because I don't think, remember when Dr. Phil he did an episode and someone was really mad because a partner, the husband would never change the toilet roll when it was empty. And then Dr. Phil said, it's not about the toilet paper. Do you remember this? Yes. It's not about the airport ride.
Right.
I think underneath it is, can I rely on you when I need you? That's what I think.
That's a good point. Yeah. You know what? And that would answer the reason why I don't want to have a boyfriend drive me to the airport, because I don't think any guy should meet Airport Andrea until we are madly in love. Because that girl is not very nice and she's a little mean-spirited, because I feel like on travel days, I'm very militant. Like, I know exactly what time I want to leave. I have my car service. I know my bags are packed. I'm not leaving anything for the morning.
You have an airport map and print it out?
Everything is you want to travel with me. You're going to get to your destination. I got my passport here. I got everything I need. And the last thing I want is somebody who's tired, who doesn't want to get up and drive to the airport, just going, relax, you'll get there. Why do you have to get there 3 hours early? That person I will murder. And I don't want to have that. I just want to get to the airport. So I'd rather have the car service. Clearly, if he's not offering, he doesn't want to do it. So I'd rather someone just lay in bed, I'll see you when I get back, and I'd rather you be honest about who you are and let me get in my car service and arrive on time than have somebody who's like doing it out of obligation and trying to be nice but also making me late and aggravating
You know what
me.
you just did? You just gave us insight into a lot of men that you have dated.
Oh.
Which is so sad that they're like that.
And their mothers who have enabled this type of behavior.
I know this is a hot button topic, I can tell from the audience, but the thing is that like I think that there's stages of your relationship. At the beginning of the relationship, this is a nice gesture. It also matters though where you're going. Is this like an hour flight? Yes, it
Really?
does. It does, absolutely. If you're going away for like a very short trip, I wouldn't, I mean, who are we? Would you do the same thing?
Yes,
Our DJ?
Airport Andrea
I'm
doesn't
sorry.
matter how
Of
long the
course
flight
I
is.
would.
She needs to be in the airport at a certain hour.
No. I'm talking about the expectation on the partner. You would do this for DJ as well.
Of course I would.
Any single time.
Of course I would.
Okay, but would you ask for what you want as well, or would you expect him to read your mind?
It's just the decent thing to do, and he would know that I would feel
Actually-
better going to an airport with him than in the back of a rideshare. I think this is bigger than this story. I was listening to a podcast with Esther Perel
Clearly.
and Trevor Noah, and they were talking about how technology, like auto shares, are eroding community. We talk about how lonely we are, but then we
Let's
bristle
ride
at the
to the
idea of
airport.
driving someone to the airport where you can connect with them, communicate with them. Human beings want purpose. Let's give people
I will
an
give you this much.
opportunity
I will give you
to
this.
help each other.
Don't clap for that, as Cynthia would say. I will give you this. If you're going on a very long trip and you're going to be away for 6 months, your partner should drive you and take you to the airport and see you
Right
off.
to the gate.
Yes.
Right to the
Sure.
gate.
Right to
I
the
will
gate.
give that. Any other trip, if it's a normal trip, you'll be back in 10 days. Stay in your bed. Car service will
I
be
think,
here.
okay, I mean,
Yeah.
again, I feel so sad for the men that you have dated, because it's so sad. I truly say that. I was dating Ryan for literally 5 days. 5 days into this relationship, didn't even know his last name. I just knew it's pretty hot. My best friend was moving away. My best friend since I was in senior kindergarten. And now in my late 20s, she's leaving me, and I'm just devastated. The first thing that Ryan said is, you shouldn't be driving. I'm going to drive the two of you. He doesn't know her from Adam.
Yeah.
He drives me. I leave her at the gate. He stayed in the car. He goes, you guys need your moment. He drops me off at the front. He goes and parks or whatever those cell phone parking lots are. And then I come back and I just a mess of a person. And he didn't say anything. He just held my hand the whole ride home, okay?
Okay, very
I'm gonna tell you
romantic.
something. It wasn't about the drive. I never had to ask. It was, I am here to take care of you. And 18, 19 years later, he still takes care of me that way.
You know what?
That's the
You
point.
just answered the question.
I'll just say that's wonderful and that's very romantic, but there are 1,000,001 opportunities to be and given romantic gestures in the landscape of opportunities of things in relationships. This is not the one you ride or die for. I'm sorry. If this is her deal breaker, yeah, end it.
He
Because
cooks a mean breakfast, too.
Exactly. I mean, breakfast. One of the most romantic gestures that Jason did for me early on in that stage was he was working like 5 hours away and he had 1 day off and he drove 5 hours to come stay with me for 1 hour and drove 5 hours back. I'll take that over an airport drive any single day.
I'll take both.
Okay. You know what? This has all been very helpful. So when I meet my husband, I will know because he will offer to drive me to the airport and he will know to be 3 hours early and not to
That's
upset
right.
me.
There you
Be
go.
like,
That's
he knows.
right.
Okay, gotcha.
Accept nothing less.
No, that's why I'm still single.
He's coming. I feel it.
Girl.
Subscribe to the Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.